All right, welcome coders. Today's tutorial is all about Minecraft Education Edition Tutorial Builder 1 in CodeCastle. So first thing you want to do is you want to check out the setup in CodeCastle to be able to get into using CodeCastle. That should be the first part of the video. What are we going to do with this video? This is going to be Builder 1, the first half of Builder 1. We're going to talk about drawing dots. We're going to talk about drawing lines, drawing walls, drawing floors, and drawing solid boxes. All right, so let's get into it. First thing we need to do is go into Minecraft, open it up, log into it. You should have a setup video before this that'll show you all about how to do that. Right now we're just going to get right into building. So I'm going to click on play. I'm going to go into import. I'm going to import the CodeCastle world, go into view my worlds, and I'm going to join that world. There we go. So I'm in that world now. I want to go into the Builder 1 section, so I'm going to walk up to Coach, right-click on him, go to Builder 1, and now I'm in the Builder 1 section, and we're ready to start our exercises. So this video is going to be all about completing 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, which are draw dot, draw line, draw wall, draw floor, and draw solid box. All right, let's go to draw dot first. I'm going to walk up here to line 1, or to the first exercise point, stand right on this orange dot here. I'm going to press C to go into my code builder, and I'm going to create a new project. If this is the first time you've done any coding, it's going to look kind of like this, and you're going to see different options. You want to choose Microsoft Make Code. So there we go. I've chosen that option. Now I'm going to go to New Project, and I'm going to create a new project, and I'm going to call it Builder 1 Example. There we go. I'll also put a smiley face. There we go. I'm going to press Create. And I don't want to code this in blocks. I'm going to code it in Python. So up here in the top right, or the top middle on the right side, you want to choose Python. And now we have code. I'm going to take this code and delete it. Don't need it. And I'm going to label out with my initials first and the date what this program does. So this is going to be Builder 1 Tools. All right, so what does that mean? Build things really fast with Minecraft tools. Make code functions. All right. Well, the first thing I want to do is I want to focus on our form here. So the first thing that we have is we have our libraries, and we don't have any. We don't need any for this project. The other thing that we would typically have is initialized variables. So I'll put that here. We're probably going to fill that out with maybe some variables that we can use for positions, and also for like lists of types of blocks that we would like to make. And you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and make one right now. I'm going to make one called color list, and I'm going to make that color list a list by putting the square brackets here. And I'm just going to choose some blocks. So let's say blue concrete. Let's do Merca. I'm going to do red concrete. There we go. Comma, white concrete, and comma, and blue concrete. There we go. So I'm going to have red, white, and blue as my color list right here. Alex, the world is CodeCastle. It's the CodeCastle world. All right, so now that I've made my color list, basically I have a list, and I could choose color list 0 to choose red concrete. I could choose color list 1 to use white concrete, or I could choose color list 2 to use a blue concrete. Cool, I don't even have to label them anymore, and I can cycle through this list to make really cool different ideas of things that I'd make, similar to our turtle project that we made before. I'm also going to set a position. So I'm going to make a position for where I want my builder to build from. So I'll say reset POS for position, and I'm going to make that equal to a position, and I'm going to set it to just a relative position right here. Position 0, 0, 0. I'm going to make it start building 1 in the X direction. I'm going to try that. So when I say reset position, this means that I'm going to set a position that's 1 in the X direction in front of me, essentially, in Code Builder, and I'm going to set it to be this position. And this is going to be nice because from this point on, if I ever want to refer to this position of being 1 space in front of me in the X position, I can just refer to it as reset position. Remove a block that has been placed by code. Yes, fill it with air. Andrew, fill it with air. All right, so now that I've done that, what I also want to do is I want to actually make some code. So this is going to be where my functions are. And lastly, after I have my functions, I'm going to have my main function after this, and this is how I'm actually going to run code down here on the bottom. So this is all code structure that we have here. This is just getting into the idea of how structure or how code is typically formed. Now that we have little pieces of how to code, we can actually build entire programs with this idea. All right, let's get into the functions here. So the first thing that I want to do is draw a dot. So I'm going to put def and draw underscore dot. And actually, I'm not going to make it draw. I'm going to make it build underscore dot. I'm going to make all of my builder commands start with build and then underscore and then whatever it is it makes, just so I have some congruency. All right, so build dot. I'm not going to have any parameters. I don't need anything like that. I'm just going to put a colon. And here's where I want my doc string. So the doc string is going to be 3 single quotes, just like this. And in between those single quotes, I'm going to say what building a dot does. So it resets the builder location and draws and places a dot at that location. All right, cool. So I can build a dot. That's all I need to do. That's all I need to know. Now if I look at this function, all I have to do is read this doc string and I know what happens. It resets the builder's position and it places a dot at that location. Now just so you know, this reset position right here, I'm going to put a little comment here. Every time a builder function is used, the builder will go to this position. So I can basically change this one piece of code, and as I make more and more functions later on, I can make it to where every time I reset my builder, I can make it go to this position. That's why we built this initial variable. It's a way for us to be able to move it real quick. All right, Caleb, don't worry. Don't worry. We've got next week. We're going to be doing more builder stuff. So if you need to do it, if it takes you another week, you'll be okay. Just keep in mind, we're going to be doing this for a couple weeks, so don't be scared. All right, so now we're going to build this dot. Now, what does that mean? Well, what I want it to do is I want to reset the builder position. Notice how I code this. I'm going to use pseudocode to list out all the things that are going to happen. I'm going to reset the builder's position. I'm going to draw a dot. And that's all that has to happen here. This is a very short function. But you're going to notice that every time I make a function, what I actually want to do is I want to list out all the steps of what I want it to do first. And then I'm going to go in and actually add the code to make that happen. So in order to make this happen, to reset the builder position, I'm going to go to builder and I'm going to teleport the builder to a position. I'm going to grab that from the pink builder spots here. So go into builder, you're going to see something that says builder teleport to position. And there we go. We have teleport to position. And right here, we could change this manually by changing this number, but now we have this nice reset position variable here to where we can change that. Yes, Alex, you can download it in your or in the Schoology resources folder. All right, so if we go to builder teleport to, instead of putting this position 000, I can actually plug in the name of this initialized variable here, and that means that every time that I want to in the future use this, I can simply refer to this reset underscore position and now this is going to make it set to this position right here, which means that if I keep on using this position, if I wanted to change that position later, all I have to do is just change this one piece of code and it'll change all the rest of the references to that code, which is really helpful. All right, so now that we've done that, we want to mark this spot actually. So actually we don't need to for this definition. So we want to draw a dot from here. The builder will teleport to this position, which is 1 in the X direction, 0 in the Y position, and 0 in the Z position, which basically means it's going to move 1 block in front of you in the X position. I want it to draw a dot, so I'm just going to go over here to builder and grab place block. I'll drop this down here. And we can see it says builder.place, and there's grass. You could refer to a specific type of block, Like I could put in obsidian, or I could put in sea lantern. Place sea, or let's say blue concrete, something like that. Or if I wanted to, instead of specifying a specific block type, like I could put in like gold, see, white concrete, something like that. I could specify something right here, or I could specify something from my color list. So I'm going to do both. I'm going to show you both methods in just a moment. So right now I'm just saying I'm going to place white concrete in the spot that is the reset position, which is this position right here. All right, now how do I actually call this function? There's a few ways we can do this. I could put build dot just down here, build underscore dot with an empty parameter list. And now to run this function, I can simply press the play button down here on the bottom right, and that will make this run. Build a dot, here we go. Teleport to reset position, builder place. All right. There we go. And you can see it placed the dot one tile ahead of where I am in the X direction, which is basically this way here. Cool, I placed a dot. If you want to change where it is placed, I can change right here. I can change the reset position to wherever I want. So if I wanted it below me, I could put 0 and -1 right here. And now it's going to place that that builder dot right here. And it's going to put it right below me. Boop, there we go. Now every time I press play, I press enter and I press play, or I'm sorry, press C and press play, it's going to make a dot below me. Perfect. All right. I'm actually going to change this to grass and erase that that dot I just put down there. Boop, there we go. And if you want to erase something, you can fill it with air. So let's say I don't want this block right here. Let's say I want to take that out. I can simply place air instead. And I can make the builder or the reset position back to 1, 0, 0. And now when I press play, it's going to fill that with air to remove it. All right, cool. Another thing you can do is you can change what the block type is to something from a list. So if I wanted the 0 index of this list right here, I can change this. Instead of making it a specific value, I could say color list, color underscore list, and then in the square brackets here, I can put which number I want. 0 would be the first one that you see, which is red concrete. 1 would be white, and 2 would be this one. So let's check it out. If I press play here, you can see it now makes that in red concrete. If I change this number to 1, then it will pick the 1 index of this list, which is white. If I press play now, boop, it changes it to white. And if I change this number to 2, then now, or 2, then it's going to use the second index, which is a blue concrete here. All right, I press play, and now, boop, it changes it to blue. Cool. Merca! Now I'm going to go back in here, and I'm going to just make this color list 0. Now, if you want to make it randomly pick a number here, there is a way that we can do that. We can use random numbers inside of our code here. So in the past, we used math.random.randint. In this code, I think it's just random. I think it's random math.random. I think it's just random. Let me check for sure. If you're not sure about the syntax of something, feel free to open up Google and do a search. I'm just going to do a search real quick to make sure I know what it is. I'm going to say Python make code random. And let's see what it says. Random make code. Let's see what it says here. It looks like we are supposed to use Python. This isn't quite it. Not quite what I'm looking for. All right, we want random image, Python make code random number. Pseudo random number, math.random. I'm pretty sure that's not the right one. I have it in another code file, so let me check real quick. There is a way to do this as a random number. I want to say randint. Yes, randint, that's it. So you can choose a randint from the bottom possible number being 0 to whatever the maximum possible number is. So I'll make it 2 right here. And if you use rand int and then you put in parentheses the range that you want to go between 0 to 2, now every time I build a dot, it's going to pick a random color from my color list and it's going to put it in there. So let's see what that looks like here. I'm going to press play and there it picked red. If I press C and press play again, this time it picked white, and if I press play, you can see that it's now picking a random color. I'm not choosing which color, it's simply picking a random color to choose from. So cool, we can use random number, random types of colors. We can set variables to be able to say where it teleports to. I can simply change this position to change where it draws that dot. And we've used a lot of the things that we already have learned about to be able to do some cool stuff with our functions. All right, reset. I'm going to change my doc string now to actually say what is happening. Places a dot of a random color from the color list at that location. There we go. So now it's a little bit more explicit as far as what this function does. I've updated my doc string so that way my code will run exactly the way I say here. Now if I don't want to make it to where I have to press play every single time I run this, I can take this function out of my main area here, and I'm going to add a listener to what is called an event handler to be able to wait for an event to happen, and when that event happens, it's going to run this code. And the event that I want it to wait for is an OnChat command. So I'm going to go to player up here and grab the run code OnChat command, drag that underneath my main here. You'll see that it puts in an automatic definition for a function. We don't need that. I'm just going to take that out. And right here it says player.onChat, and it says jump. I'm going to change this to say dot. Make sure that you have the double quotes around it, because this is basically saying that it's waiting for our chat to have these ASCII characters, lowercase d, lowercase o, lowercase t. If those are all there, if that string is there, then it's going to run this function, which is build_dot. All right, cool. So now we've got that all set. All I have to do is press play. And now if I want it to make a dot in front of me, I simply press enter or T and I type in dot, and bam, it makes a dot for me. Cool. Another way I can make this run is by making a listener for using an item. So I'm going to go back up here to player, and I'm going to grab the run code on item used. So I'm going to grab this and drag this down, and it once again is going to make a definition. I don't want that, so I'm going to take it out. I'm going to make it to where when I use my compass, right here where it says iron shovel, I'm going to change that to compass, and when I use my compass, it's going to once again build dot. Now you're going to notice that it's going to give you an error because you cannot have two listeners that activate the same function at the same time here. So I have to choose one or the other. I'm just going to comment out this player on chat right here. I'm just going to put an octothorpe before that, so that way it ignores that piece of code. If I want to bring it back, I can simply take the comment out and comment this one if I want it to go the other way around. I'm just showing you that you can use your compass to be able to run whatever function you want. That way I don't have to keep on typing stuff in. I just have to have my compass out, and now whenever I right click with my compass out, bam, it draws a dot in front of me. All right, cool, awesome. And it picks a random color every time I do it. Very cool. All right, so that is our first thing. Let's go to the second one, which is drawing a line. All right, so I'm going to go back into drawing a line here. We're actually going to make a function that gets called for our line to work. And well, first I'm going to make the function for the line real fast, and then we're going to go into customizing it to make it a little bit better. So I'm going to create a new function. I'm going to call it build_line. And for this, I'm going to have a x parameter that I'll make it to where you can draw along the x-axis. So I'm going to put x in there, and in my doc string here, I'm going to put 3 single quotes to write a doc string, and I'm going to say resets the builder location and draws a line along the x-axis. And then I'm going to label what my parameters do. So right here I have just one parameter, x. I'm going to say, what does the x parameter do? It determines how many tiles the line will be in the x direction. All right, cool. So I've listed out what the function does in my docstring, and I also have listed out what the parameter that the function has does. So make sure you do that with all of your functions. You want to say what the function does and also what the parameters do inside of your function. All right, so now that I've done that, I'm going to list out the steps of what needs to happen. So I need to reset the builder location. I'm going to mark that spot, mark the spot, and then I'm going to teleport to the end of the line, and then I'm going to fill the line with a block, with blocks. And I'll make it random blocks. Why not? There we go. And I'll put in my description here, draws a line with a random chosen color along the x-axis. There we go. Random chosen color from the color list with a random color list block. There we go. That's more explicit. Okay, so we got to reset our builder position. So when we reset our builder position, all we got to do is basically teleport our builder to the reset position. I'm just going to take this code and put it back in there. Something that we've already done before, so I'm going to copy and paste it. Yes, Caleb, certainly. As far as marking the spot, we're just going to go to builder, and we're going to grab builder place mark. We're going to slap this down there. There we go, builder mark. And right here where it says teleport to the end of the line, we're going to have our builder teleport, and we're going to teleport it to a position. In this case, we can have it teleport. What would probably be a good idea is to have us add a position to what we have here. So we could put something specific here, but a better way to do this would be for us to take whatever the position that they're at, whatever the reset position is, and add to that position. That way, if we start building from like further away from where we are now, we're able to make it to where the line is not relative to exactly where you're standing, but rather to where the builder is positioned and where it's placed. So to do this, I'm going to take out the build teleport to. I'm going to take this out. I'm going to take that area out. And instead, for where it says builder.teleport to, I'm going to put in a position. I'm going to go to the positions block over here, and I'm going to grab the P1 plus P2, which creates a new position by adding two positions together. All right, I'm going to grab that and put that in here. And what this means is I'm going to add two positions together. I'm going to add this position to this position. And what am I going to choose for the first one here? I'm going to choose that position that I made, this reset position. That's going to be where it starts. So I'm going to say reset position right here. Now the second position that we have over here, this is what's going to get added to the spot where it starts. So in this case, I want to add in the x direction. This first variable right here is your 0, or this first 0 is your x, this is your y, and this is your z. So what do I want it to do? I want it to add to the x position. So right here where I have x up here for build line, I could put like x length right here just to make it clear what's happening. I'm just changing the name of what this variable is. Just that way we know it's the x length. I'm going to put that right here for where it teleports to. It's going to teleport to whatever its reset value was, plus in the x direction, the x length. There we go. So I know this is like a lot to take in at once right here, but basically I'm adding the position of the reset position, so I can change this number now, and it's still going to draw a line from this spot, not from where you are standing, but it's going to start from wherever this spot is. And now it's going to take that spot and it's going to add in the x direction. It's going to add whatever number I put in my parameter here. So cool. let's see how this works now. The last thing we want to do is we want to fill the line with random blocks. So I'm going to type builder.fill, and I'm going to fill it with, I need a block. So I'm going to fill it with, I'm going to take this same thing right here. I'm going to take a random thing from my color list, and I'm going to make that what it fills with. All right, cool. Now that we have all that set, we have this build line function ready to use. I'm going to go down here, and I'm going to make it to where instead of building a dot with my compass, I can build line. And when I try running this, there's not going to be a, there's no default set for X length here. So I have to set it to something. I'm going to set it to 5. So when it draws my, line, it's going to be set to 5 if I don't specify how long I want it to be. All right, so I'm going to walk over here to the end of this line over here, and I'm going to right click with my compass, and what do we got? Oh, we got just a 1 dot. Oh, the default function isn't seeming to work. All right, let's make it to where this is a chat function and where we can actually make it to where we can specify how many tiles we want this to be long. So I'm going to comment out my compass. It's not working right now anyway. And I'm going to make it to where I have a chat command that's called line. When I type line into the chat, it's going to summon build line. There we go. So all I have to do is go into the chat and type in line, and then it's going to activate this code. And I can press space, and I can type in however long I want the length of this line to be. Let's try it out. I press play. I'm going to type in line and 3. And when I do that, it's going to make, assuming that it works here, line 3. What is going on? I have some type of error in my code. Where is that? Let me take out this build line. Let me take out that default code. I think that it's messing up what we're doing here. So let's take out the default. We just have X length, build line, X length. There's no default. I think that that might be the issue that we have here. We press play, and if I type in line 5 or line 3, why am I getting nothing? I'm confused here. Let's see. Field of undefined. What do we got? Def build line, X length. We have X length here. Should be filling. OnChat line. It creates build line. What do we got? It marks the spot. Fill. So this should be fine. Teleport to, positions add. This all looks correct. This should add together. Build underscore line. That's correct. Cannot read property fields of undefined. X length here. X length, that should be set, and then it uses that down here. Okay, let's try it one more time. Line 3, there we go. All right, so now it's moving. You can see that it builds along the X direction. So if I put line 3 again, it might choose red again. It did. If I choose line 3 again, wow, it shows red 3 times in a row. There we go. Now it shows a different color. So we can see that the random choice is still working. Now it's just drawing a line instead. But I don't want it to go along the X direction. I want it to go along the Z direction, which is this way over here. So I'm going to press C again, go into my code, and I'm going to change this. Instead of going along the X direction, I'm going to make it go Z length. I'll change these variables to be labeled Z in the right spots here. And it's going to be going along the Z direction now. That way I can make it go the way I want it to. It was going along this line, and I don't want that. Now if you want to remove this line, we can simply fill it with air instead. So I'm going to make a function soon to be able to clear off an area. And basically we're going to be using the clear command to be able to fill areas with air. And that's all we're going to be doing for that. So now it should be working. We want to take this Z length, and we want to move this. Instead of adding to the X position with Z length, we're going to be adding to the Z position with Z length. So I'm just moving where that is here. There we go. So I'm adding the reset position wherever my initialized variable up here, wherever this position is. We're going to be starting our line from this spot. I can change this number now, and you can see I can draw from like different places. Like if I wanted to draw from like 10 spots in front of where I am, I could put 10 here. And now when I run this, if I type in line 3, it's going to draw a line, but it's going to draw it from 10 spaces in front of me. So this is why it's helpful to have initialized variables, because now I don't have to go back in my code and change everything. I can just change this one piece of code, and I'm able to change where my dots start from. So very useful to be able to have this initialized global variable here. All right, so let's go down here. I have my build line Z length. I'm going to change this, and let me just draw a line that goes to the end of this this yellow thing here. So I'll say line 5. Is that long enough? No, a little bit longer. Line 7. Almost. Line 8. There we go. Now we got it. So I have a line that draws all the way across here. You'll notice that you can't destroy anything in this world. You have to make something in code to be able to clear it out. So let's make something to allow us to be able to fill an area with air, so that way we can delete it. So I'm going to press C again to go into my code builder, and I'm going to make one called erase. And it's actually going to be the same exact code that we're going to use to fill a box, or to fill a box of various size. So let's go back in here. I'm going to go to DEF to define a new thing. I'm going to build, and I want to build a wall. So to build a wall, we're going to have 2 parameters. We're going to have length, and I'll actually put what direction. I'll put Z length, and I'll put Y height. There we go. Just letting us know that they work on these axes, and this is like what they generally do. What am I going to do when I build a wall? Well, I got to first make my doc string. So I'm going to put some triple quotes in here. And I'm going to say builds a wall of Z length in the Z direction, and of Y height in the Y direction. Okay, so what does that mean? What is it? I don't know what happened there. There we go. All right, so let me list out what my parameters do. Z length is how long the wall is in the Z direction, and Y height is how tall the wall is in the Y direction. All right, there we go. Whoops, there we go. All right, so now that I have my doc string, let's actually fill this out here. So I'm going to start off. The start of this is going to be very similar. I'm going to teleport my builder to this position and mark the spot. In fact, maybe what I want to do is what is known as refactoring the code, which means that maybe there's some things that I do all the time, and I might want to make it to where I just make a function that I call to do those things. So right here where I have reset the builder location and mark the spot, I'm going to do this all the time. So why don't I just make a function for it? I'm going to go up above this and make a function called def reset underscore builder. No parameter list required. What am I going to have it do? I'm going to have it do this stuff. Reset the builder location and mark the spot. And what I'll do is I'll make a little doc string here that just says sets the builder up to construct something from the reset position. There we go. So now I have these things set, and instead of having to type all this stuff out every time I want to reset my builder, now I can just type reset underscore builder, and it's going to run this function inside of this function. Cool. So now I don't have to worry about having to type all this code over and over again. Now I can just put reset builder, and it's going to teleport my builder to that position and set a mark down. Awesome. All right, so that's what I want to do here. I want to reset my builder. There we go. And then I want it to teleport. So I need to reset the builder. I need to teleport to the top of the wall, top and the end of the wall. There we go. And then once we do that, how do we do that? I'm just going to grab the builder.teleport, and I'm going to grab this same exact line of code right here. Except this time, I'm going to have it go z length. Yes, I will have it teleport that way, but I'm also going to change its height in the y height direction. So right here where I'm adding to this position, I'm going to add to the y position here, y height. There we go. And now it's going to teleport to the top of the wall and to the end of it. And now I just have to fill, so I'm going to do the same exact code that I have right here. Fill the line with random bricks, or fill the wall with random bricks. Let me change that here. All right, so I'm just copying and pasting basically some of the code from my line. I'm taking what I'm filling with is still going to be a random color from the color list. But this time, I'm going to make it also affect the y parameter of our builder here. So there we go. I have y height put in there. And now I can say how long I want the wall to be, and I can say how tall I want the wall to be. Let's check it out. Down here for my OnChat commands, I'm just going to copy this OnChat command, and I'm going to make one called wall, and I'm going to change it to, instead of build line, I'm going to make it build wall. There we go. So now I have the ability to call on the build wall function by typing wall. Then I press space, and then the first number that I type in is going to be the length of the wall. And then I press space, and then the next number is going to be the height of the wall. All right, let's try it out. So I'm here in my game space. Let me go up to the next area here. And I'm going to say wall. I want it to be 10 tiles long, and I want it to be 5 tiles tall. All right, let's try it. Woo! All right, there we go. We can see that it's actually more than 5 tiles tall, though. Does anybody know why that would be? Why would it be 6 tiles tall instead of 5 tiles tall? That's right. Damien has the correct answer. The answer is that 0, that is this first wall right here, is the 0 location or the 0 position of this. Which means that if I want my numbers to be accurate, I actually have to subtract 1 from the value. So I'm going to go press C. I'm going to go back in here. And right here where I have y height and z length, I'm going to put -1 after each one of these. That way it takes 1 tile away to account for the fact that 0 does count as a tile. So if I want to say I want a wall that is 5 in height, then I need to make sure I take away 1 so that way 0 isn't counted, basically. So there we go. I'm going to press play. And now if I go back over here and I do a wall, we'll say 15, or we'll say 12 and 4. Now when I run this, I can see that the height of this is now 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. It's 4 tiles tall, and if I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Perfect. It is 12 tiles long. I've got my wall built. Cool. How tall can this thing go, I wonder? Wall. How tall do or how long do I want it? 20. How tall do I want it? I want it 100. Bam! And yeah, it's a tall wall. That would have taken a long time to build in Minecraft, I gotta say. But thankfully, I have the power of code to make it to where I don't have to place every single little tiny block. Great. We've got our wall built. Excellent. Let's go to the next one, which is building a floor. Building a floor might seem like it's something that seems a little bit familiar. We're going to use all the same stuff that we used from our previous code example. So I'm actually going to take all this code for def build wall. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to come down here and paste it. And I'm going to make it, instead of build wall, I'm going to make it build floor. I'm going to have it be z length. And I'm also going to have it have x length. There we go. So I can see that, and I should probably, just for the sake of alphabetization, I'm going to make the x direction first, and then I'll make the z direction the second parameter. All right, so I'm going to have I'm building a floor of x length and z length. All right, so the first thing I do, it's going to build a floor of X length in the X direction, and Z length in the Z direction. All right, cool. There we go. Tyler, yes, let me go up to reset builder. All I did was I took the teleport to reset position. I took this this position that we labeled at the beginning of our code here. This is going to be referred to in the reset builder here. So I'm just resetting, I'm teleporting the builder to that position, and I'm marking that spot. Just so that way, every time I say reset builder, it's going to do that every single time. That's what I want it to do. Teleport to that spot and mark that spot. All right, so build a floor. I have Z length or X length in the X direction and Z length in the Z direction. There we go. In the Z direction. Perfect. And what do I want it to do? Well, I want it to do something similar to this. I don't want it to change its Y position right here where it says builder teleport to. I'm adding these two positions together. I want it to start from wherever I'm resetting, yes. But I do want it to go in the X direction. I want it to go X length -1 in the X length position. And I want the Z length still also to be used. So I still have that right here. Excellent. And it's going to fill with the random color from the color list. Awesome. Let's try it out. I'm going to go into my code or into the game. And I'll say, I need to create a listener for it. So down here where I have floor, I'm going to take another OnChat command. I'm going to copy this and paste it because I'm lazy. I'm efficient. I'm going to go in here and change it to floor. There we go. So when I type floor into the chat, it's going to run the build floor function. There we go. The first parameter is how far it will be in X. The second parameter will be how far it goes in Z. Let's try it out. All right. Yeah, there we go. All right, so I'm going to type in floor 3-3. And there it goes. Ooh, and it built the floor. You'll notice that it built the floor just in front of where I am. If I wanted to change this, I could make it to where when I go into the position that it gets added to, I could put a -1 right here in the Y position, and that'll make it to where it will add -1 to where the reset location is, which will put it on the ground essentially. Before I do that, let me go ahead and clear this. I'm gonna make its builder fill here. I'm going to make it fill with air, and you know what? I'm gonna do that next because we're gonna build a box. And I'm going to show you how you can build a box with air, which will basically make it to where you clear an area. So here we go. If I go to set this to -1 in the Y position, now it's going to draw a floor below the position that I have here. So here we go. If I go back in here and I walk over here a little bit, if I type in floor 3-3, now it actually builds. Oh, what happened? It didn't build it. It's supposed to add with this position. -1 should be added to the build floor here, and I'm not totally sure why it's not. Add this. Yes, floor should build that to the position. Let me try one more time. I got stymied for a second there. Floor 3-3. Oh, it's still building above the position. Oh, you know why? Because it's filling from the mark of the of where we reset it. It's filling from there. That would be a problem. All right, so I'm just going to set this back to 0. If I wanted to build the floor from that position, I would just have to change in my reset position here. I change this to -1. If I do that, then it would run it. There is a way to fix this, but it's going to be a little out of the scope of what we're doing right now. But now if I type floor 3-3, it's going to build underneath where I am. And it actually picked blue, so that's why it didn't show up. There we go. So I can make floor 4, we'll say 4-5. And that's how I can get floors that are not squared perfectly. I can now have them longer than I have them wide. If I go over here and I do floor, let me go over here and do floor, the X direction, I'll say 6, and the Y or Z direction I'll say 30, and that'll build a floor boop, that goes all the way across here. So you want to try to fill in this area over here. But before we get to that, let's figure out how we can erase stuff, how we can create an erase command, basically filling an area with air to be able to clear out things that we don't want around. So I'm going to go back into my code. I'm going to build another function called build cube, or I'm sorry, build box. So really I'm going to take all this stuff and copy it and paste it. Why reinvent the wheel? We already have a nice functional format here. Instead of building a floor, I'm going to make it build a solid box. There we go. And I'm going to have the X length, the Z length, and you guessed it, the Y length. Cool. So now I have all three parameters that I'm going to be able to manipulate and change. It's going to build a box of X length in the X direction, Y and Z. I'm sure you can guess this, of X length in the X direction, Y length in the Y direction, and of Z length in the Z direction. And we basically have the same thing right here, but it's going to tell you that the Y length is how tall. And this is how tall the box is. There we go. Change all this stuff in the Z and the Y. I'm just changing my doc string so that way it actually reflects what the code's going to do. And what do I want it to do? First, I'm resetting the builder. I'm going to teleport to the top and the rear corner. We're going to say top rear corner of the box. And that basically means that we're going to use the X, the Y, and the Z parameters here. So I'm going to put Y length here, -1 still, because we want it to not count 0 as one thing. And I'm going to make it choose a random thing. So exactly the same. Fill the box. Now we're just using all three dimensions. And that's all we have to do. We can clarify how long we want it in X, how long we want it in the Y direction, and how long we want it in the Z direction. Let's check it out. I still have to build a listener, so I'm going to grab this event handler here. We also call them listeners. I'm going to make one called box, and I'll make it build box. There we go. It's actually build solid box. Sorry, build solid _ box. We are going to make a hollow box next week, so just so you know. Essentially, we're going to build a box and then build a smaller box inside of it filled with air, just so you know. All right, so we've got this. Let me try it out. Going to go in here and we'll say box. I want it to be a 3 by 4 by 5 just to see if it works. Boop, there it is. We can see that it's 1, 2, 3 in the X direction. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the Z direction, and it's 1, 2, 3 in the Z direction, or the Y direction rather. Cool. That should be all we need. Let me change my reset position back to 0 because I don't want it to build underneath me. I'm going to change that back to 0 there. So I'm just changing my reset position to where it builds my box right in front of me. That's all I need to do. Cool. All right. So now, how do I get rid of this? How do I get rid of stuff? All right, Alex. Yeah, we get out of here in just a few minutes. How do you get rid of stuff? I'm going to make an exactly the same function as what I have here for build solid box, except I'm going to make it erase by filling it with air. So I'm just going to copy this. I'm going to paste it, and I'm going to make it def clear. And it's still going to use exactly the same parameters. And what is it going to do? It's going to clear an area of all the same kind of box directions here. So the only thing that I'm changing, from the build solid box is I'm going to make it not fill with a random color from my color list, but I'm going to make it fill with air. All right, cool. So all I have to do is I got to make a listener here. So I'm going to make a listener, and I'm going to make it wait for clear. The keyword is clear. And when I say clear, I want you to clear out that area. Cool. So if I press play now and I go into the game space, if I type clear and 20, now bam, it's going to cut all this stuff out And I can now come back over here and like clear out some stuff that I missed over here. I can go over here and type clear. Let's say 5 to 30. And now, bam, it cut all that stuff out of there. Only up to 5 though, so let me go a little bit more than that. You can press up to access your previously executed code. So that way, like, let's say you wanted to cut out some stuff that that was in front of you, you can do that. You can now, by the way, you can now escape. You can now escape from CodeCastle's boundaries. If you use that clear command, I can use this to now cut out areas of the trees that I have here. So let's say I wanted to, I'm blowing this popsicle stand, I'm getting out of here. So I can put 15 in here and maybe like 5 for the Z direction, and bam, I'm gonna cut a hole so I can escape, get out of these barriers. You can't contain me anymore, McDowell. I've escaped. Yeah, you thought you could keep me in there forever, but now I'm outie. All right, everybody, I hope you enjoyed the process of learning how to do some coding. Let's talk about what we covered here. We've only got 2 minutes left. We talked about doc strings. We talked about how you label your functions. We talked about creating initialized variables like our color list and our reset position that we have here. We talked about how we can build everything from the ground up. So we built a dot, we built a line. We talked about how we made a new function to be able to reset our builder, to be able to reset to this position and mark that spot. Great. We walked through the whole process of how to make everything from the first position to the end. And I hope that you can use this idea, use these functions to be able to create something really cool in your 10th exercise over here in this big green section. I want you to make a function that builds some kind of a structure in here. So use the walls, use the solids. Keep in mind that you can clear areas with the clear command now. You've got a lot of stuff that you can do. The group participation, just give me a screenshot of where you are in your code so that way you can show off what you've made. That's all we have for today. I hope you have a great time coding. I hope you experiment a little bit with making code. You can make really large objects, as you can see from this wall I have here. You can make some really large objects very quickly. So have some fun with this. Go into Minecraft. You don't just have to do it in CodeCastle. You can use these codes in any Minecraft world in Minecraft Education Edition that you want. So feel free to play around in the game itself and build some really cool structures. I hope you have fun with this. That's all we have for today. What did we talk about? How to draw dots, how to draw lines, how to draw walls, how to draw floors, how to draw solids, and we have it all ready for us to build some nice structures. Enjoy the building process, and until next time I talk to you, have fun and build something awesome.